I'm worried you'll never let me pick up a sword after this.
Oh no! Anything you've done, I promise I've done it worse. Let's take a look. All right, let's take a look at video number 1. Let's give it a full watch through, and then let's give it a review. All right, so I'm gonna ask you: do you have some kind of system in which you would stop the fight here, or are we just continuously sparring?
It was to 1 minute 30 seconds or tap out.
Okay, so these swords are not like these are simulating sharp weapons. This is more. I have a blunt stick and I'm trying to kill you with it.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Alright, so we're running into a
Oh,
very, very
man.
common issue here where all ground grappling looks like gay sex. And
Yes.
that's just a rule with every single grappling art. So
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
first two parts of the
I did
same video, I
Brazilian.
guess.
Alarm.
Did it stop the video?
Yeah.
but
it
I'm
continues
filming
in this
again
one.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
40 seconds remaining, roughly.
Alright, so we're still in the same fight here.
Yep.
Well, it says for use the BJJ skills or whatever. Fucking go for it.
Oh, I still like cross guard to the hand. That looked like it hurt. Look like we're getting tired here.
Swords on your neck.
Alright, so we're tapping out here. Okay. So let's review this video. So for the sake of some kind of scoring bit, we're going to score this as we're fighting with sticks almost, because these swords in this video are quite obviously not representative of sharp objects. Let's go ahead and give this a look. So we're starting here.
Yep.
I would say if we're starting with swords, we can see. Oh gosh, it's gonna be a pain to track through. If we're starting with swords, we're already in danger, right? Because if can you guys see my mouse?
Yeah.
All right, so if we
Yeah.
see right here, we're very close to each other. This person has the crossing or the overbind or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
You can just thrust forward. With a stick, this is still a problem to an extent, because with a stick, you essentially have a lot of mass behind a singular point. If this were an actual fight, you'd be exposing your throat. Here, I can pop you with my throat, take you out in several different ways. So I would say we're not quite entering yet. We're kind of, just for the moment, we're kind of just stagnating there. So I'd say the fight
Okay.
starts a little bit farther away than this. Also, I like your form, good straight arms, nice long point position. Your inner knees collapsing still a little bit. You need to focus on that. Keep it from doing that to get the good biomechanics. You
Okay.
can tell this person over here is not trained with a sword as much as you have. We have collapsed biomechanics. Back is a little bit hunched here. Elbows are bent. And we are not gripping our sword with our hands apart, whereas you are over here. Alright, so we have a beat, and then a very odd set of maneuvers here. So,
Yeah.
I would say with a sword, this is actually not a half bad entry, right? We're coming up with... Oh gosh, we're coming up with some kind of beating action and then cutting in. But again, with a stick, I'm assuming y'all try not to hurt each other here, but there's several times...
Yeah. We were trying to moderate somewhat. I was on a lot of opioids though at the time.
Oh, I see.
So I wasn't feeling pain.
Oh, I see. So, there's a lot of it's kind of a jumbled mess, to say.
Yeah, it
the
is.
least. So I would say that you give your sword in a low position a lot, and it's not entirely impossible to come up against opponent. Like, let's use the opioid example, because this is actually, this has historical precedent. We see opioids and swords in the same kind of context. If you come against somebody who's absolutely juiced, or they have too much ale or mead, these people feel no pain. You can cut them and hit them, but they'll just keep coming at you until you cut into a major muscle group. Let's look at it from this perspective. So, from the first part of the fight, we see your sword immediately gets put down. And right here, you're in a lot of danger, right? Because Fiore says in his manual, put your sword over his so he can do nothing to you, right? So, if we are in a situation where we're against somebody who will not stop attacking us for what, the first thing we need to do is we need to either create distance or we need to either close distance. And right here, we're just kind of sitting in the range where we're going to be sliced and diced.
Okay.
So eventually, after all the slicing and dicing, your sword's still down. We're trying to get the sword back up, it looks like. All right, there we go. We're trying to defend a little bit. There we go. Sword's back up. We're doing defending, cutting actions. These are good.
Way too fast paced for me to keep track of.
All right, so now we're closing in. Now we're more to where the fight needs to be in this context. We need to stop the opponent from attacking us, and obviously cutting is not working, so we need to either run away or take him down to the ground. Your opponent seems to have realized this before you have, though, so we're in a bit of a sticky situation here.
Yeah. Well, I assumed she was going to be better at grappling than I was, which is not entirely correct.
So she's got you in some kind of almost a side control here, but it looks like you're pulling her into... You're trying to pull her into a guard. Oh, that's the end of that video, I guess. We're going to the next one.
Alarm!
Did it stop the video?
Yeah, but I'm filming again now.
Okay.
40 seconds remaining, roughly.
Alright, so I'm not sure. I think you both stopped there for a minute. She's really trying to pull you up into
use the
mount.
BJJ skills or whatever.
But
You go for it.
You've got this odd scissoring position going on.
Yeah. This is not standard.
So this is a very, very, very hard fight to combat on because the swords seem to just kind of be there as devices to smack each other with. It's more than simulators.
Yeah, I was. Xander told me just upload it and let him see.
All right, so I would say here you seem to still be treating the swords as if they are weapons. She seems to be treating the swords as if they're just kind of there. So I'd say you have BJJ skills. She doesn't. I'd say just rotate the swords in a circle, put them out, toss them to the side, and get rid of them entirely here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really hard one. I didn't expect it to be that hard to review this, but you said you have an interesting rulesay going on here. So let's take a look at Aram. You're there, right? Let's take a look at some of the earlier videos posted here.
All right, I'm gonna get back to the barbecue. See you guys.
All right, cool. All right, Aram, you're up. You ready? I'm just going to double check and make sure I'm still recording. Yes, we are. Excellent. So, oh, that's lovely. Nice little inception there. Let's go back to fight review. All right, I see your chat, Aram. I'm actually going to see if I can't. I'm going to pull this up on my phone real fast so I can see your chat while I do the video. All right, there we go. Let's take a look at this. So, I wish I could slow the speed of this down. Right away, I'll say you don't need elbows for sparring with buffers, and there's some other people waiting for them. So that's just something I noticed earlier. So again, right away, I see that you guys are entering, and as you enter, you're coming into this kind of tip forward position. This is good, because you realize that as you get closer, your opponent can just thrust at you if their tip is forward and your tip is not forward. Right, I think the first spot that I saw is right here. Yes, you see how you're stepping forward here? Aram, can you hear me? You can type in the lounge chat if you want. Alright, do you see how you've just taken a step forward here? And as you've stepped forward, your hands have gone up and your tip has gone up. So this is a very classic example of putting your body before your sword. And what's going to happen here is Michael here is swinging at you. He's probably going to end up hitting your hands. Oh, I guess he just had his sword out. He's not swinging. If here, at this exact moment, if Michael was swinging at you, you've just fed him your hands right there. So I will tell you to be cautious, and I will say make sure we're moving the sword before the body. So if we're going to take that step in, let's start our swinging motion and then step. Or since your tip was already forward, this part of the fight I like to call the entry, right? You're going close enough to your opponent to hit him while being safe. Go ahead and just enter with a thrust here. Generally, your first attack is going to be parried, right? So go ahead and just make your tip is already lined up. You're already poised. Your feet are together. You're ready for that lunge. Your weight's on your back foot. Just go ahead and throw that thrust, and then you can do something like cutting around or transitioning with your volta stabile to a different thrusting action. So another thing, just throwing one singular cut is generally not advised. So yeah, right there we see it, right? You did it right here again. You took the step in, and you raised your hands up as you came in. And Michael decides at this exact moment to throw an undercut to your torso, and he lands it because your hands just came up. I would also be cautious. I don't know if you saw that real quick. That's right there. You took a step forward and you're retracting your hands. It's like you're loading up your thrust. You don't need to do that. Whenever we throw a thrust, we should be presenting our hands in front of our body first, and then moving our body to follow the thrust. If you have any questions at any time, you can pop them in the chat. Or for those of you who can talk, you can just talk. Just interrupt me.
Oh.
Hey, I can hear you.
Yeah, I switched to my phone. Sorry about that.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Do you have any questions so far?
Could you just go back to like 30 seconds before? You cut out for like 30 seconds.
Okay, okay. What part of the video was I showing? Was it this one?
I got so far, raising my tip up while I move ahead, feeding my arms.
Okay, so we're back to the beginning here.
Yeah, there was.
Right.
I got to the point where he got that torso hit on me.
All right, so yeah, right here, we're raising up our hands as we go, and he could just eat your hands there. And right there, we raised up our hands again. And as you raised up your hands, you took a step in, you moved with your body first, he got that torso hit in. And he would not have been able to get that torso hit in if you had just kept your tip forward.
Got it.
So right here, watch. I want you to watch your sword right here and watch your hands. You're getting ready to do a thrust here in a second. So watch what your hands do getting ready for your thrust. Yeah, you see that pullback right there?
Yeah.
First of all, that's a massive tell that you're about to do a thrust. It tells your opponent, I'm about to thrust, so get ready to parry this thrust. And also, what we're doing is our sword is going backwards while our body is going forward. If at this exact moment, Michael decides to just come down on this side of your sword here and land a thrust into your chest, there's nothing you can do about it because your sword's moving back.
Gotcha.
So when we do a thrust, the way I like to teach thrusting actions, and I might actually do a lesson on this in a couple weeks. I can't teach it all next week, I don't think. But in a couple weeks, I might. We present our hands first, so you do not move your body until your hands are either in long point or an extended window position. So you present the blade first, and then you push with your body to land your thrust. So it'd be the opposite of this. You'd pull your sword out in front of you, and then you'd use your footwork to drive your thrust in.
Yeah, I often tend to come up short.
So Michael didn't punish this here, but there's been he did. See how first thrust misses, it's out of measure. You pulled your hands back again, and Michael decides to cut at you, lands right on the hand before your thrust can land. So if you ask me about this at practice, next time we practice, I can show you how to do it correctly. But we call it a covered thrust, where I present my tip, and as I move in, I'm turning my edge towards where your blade is. That means if I decide to cut at you with my shortest line, your sword is covering my cut, and your thrust can still land. Alright, again with the raising the hands and coming in first. Yeah. So that's something I want you to focus on that and work on that. Every time, I'm not worried about this because this is just an intermediate position, but every time you come in for a cut, your feet move first. We can watch that clip again just to see. Watch all the times you come in for a cut here. There's one.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's another one. Alright, so that was an excellent transition through Pasta Donna, cut around. If Michael was quicker, he probably could have parried that. He definitely parried the first one. So I'd say to make your actions much, much faster, sword first, body second.
Mhm.
Alright, so here we have an example of either you or Michael not, I want to say not respecting the sword, not realizing the sword is a threat. So, and this manifests in, I'm just going to take a pot shot swing for the legs, right, and expose my head. So that, and what's going to happen is I'm going to cut into his leg arteries and he's going to cut into my brain. That's exactly what happened here. Like, exactly what happened. And we end up with a double. So, you will end up facing opponents that will do this to you, right? So, it's everybody in every situation can pretty much, I can W whenever I want. I can tank a hit anywhere on my body and W. I would say seek contact with his sword first. So you're going to seek a bind, and then we're going to work from that bind. Because once you have contact with the sword, you now have information that you're getting. You're feeding yourself information. Like the drill we did today, like the little flowchart drill. If I feel weak in the bind, I get to thrust. If I feel my opponent is strong in the bind, then I get to cut around. We have information. But going in and attacking an opponent who's willing to recklessly W is very dangerous. And I'll also say I don't think Michael is watching right now, but hopefully he will see this recording. And Michael, this little lunging action is very dangerous since this is your first intention attack, and what that means is it's the first attack you're throwing. You're also throwing it right at his midsection. You can see this is leaving the line of your head completely exposed, and what's going to happen is this sword, even if you kill him dead with this shot, his sword is still going to have the momentum to come down onto your head, and it's going to kill you too, and that's exactly what happens there. Yep. Alright, so we seem to have at least a little bit of a sense of distance management here, so that's good. Alright, so let's take a look at that cut again. I didn't quite catch it. Alright, so now we already have a pattern of walking forward. And that time, I think your sword did move roughly at the same time as your feet, so that's better. You notice how you came in, your cut landed, there was no danger at all. Alright, so we seem to be trading that same action over and over again. So this is a good action. If you pull this out of your pocket at exactly the right time, this cut and then through Pasta Donna cut around is an excellent action. But you did it twice in a row here, and then Michael started to recognize your pattern. So he just he just parried you and then parried you again. It's like, oh, there's a hole in the pattern, and he just cut at you. So what we can do with that is, Master Fiore says that fights should never ever go beyond 4 actions. You've got a blow, a counter, a counter, a counter, and then you get the hell out of dodge, because the fight becomes immensely dangerous for both fighters at that point.
Could you repeat that? The blow, counter?
So you have a blow, you have a counter action, you have a counter, and then a counter. And Fiore in his manual refers to this as the Remedy Master and the counter Remedy Master and the counter Master. But he says that an exchange should never go beyond 4 blows, because then it becomes dangerous and unpredictable. So right here, you struck your 4 blows. He recognized your pattern, and he just struck in after you. Another way you can think about this in a much more meta, modern way is you have attack points, right? And you have a certain amount of attack points that you spend on your turn. And once you spend all your attack points, your turn is up and your opponent gets to attack you. And you can build up your attack points with training, right? And this is training different techniques, different parries, different counters, different combinations, right? But eventually, you're just going to run out of steam, and your opponent's going to sense that moment and counterattack you. This is how we see the trading of initiative in a lot of newer fighters.
I see.
So initiative just means, are you attacking, are you not attacking? If you're attacking and your opponent's on the defense, you have the initiative. If your opponent's attacking and you're on the defense, your opponent has the initiative. So we'll see the initiative switch when one person just metaphorically runs out of attack points. But we'll also see it switch if you do an excellent counteraction, like your opponent cuts at you, you cut into their cut, and you thrust them. That's also an exchange of initiative. So let's keep watching here. All right, this is all about distance management. The distance between your arms and his head is never shorter than the distance between his arms and your legs. So if you just keep your point out towards him when he comes towards you like this, you should be able to stab him in the head, right in the head, 99% of the time before he can hit you in the legs. Otherwise, it's a footwork thing and it's a distance thing. And Michael, if you're watching this later, I would say if you're setting up a leg shot, let's take a look at this again. It's very dangerous to just swipe at the legs. I would say it's much safer to provoke something to the upper opening and then cut at the legs. And you have to cover yourself as you come out. Because at this exact moment, if Aram had decided to hit you back in the head and while stepping forward, he just could do that easily.
So would like a strike at the legs from like a window guard be safer then?
From a window guard? So you're thinking a guard like
I don't know
above
how
your
that
head?
works.
Well, not a true window, kind of the side one you told us when going back to go from ascending strike.
So you're thinking that fighter A is in this kind of window position and fighter B is... So you're cutting from the window to the legs?
Yeah, would
Probably
that be
not.
slightly safer?
The window is generally a defensive position, and if you're using it as an offensive position, that means you're probably thrusting to an upper opening. So if we're going to strike at the legs, I would say really we're striking probably... Most of the time we're striking from long point, because we've just provoked the head, and the way to provoke the head is either to throw a fake cut at it or a fake thrust at it. And either way, that fake cut or thrust is going to end up or pass through some variation of long point. And then we can pronate the sword down to the legs.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's keep watching. All right, little provoking here. All right, so we just kind of laid the sword on his head. I'm not sure how much damage this would do, but this is fine. You weren't in too much danger. I think that was flat. Was flat? Chat, was that flat? Yeah, we're landing that cut flat to the leg here. We need to watch our edge alignment.
Yeah, buffers are hard to control.
Oh, definitely. They have the
really
curved
weak.
grip, right? They have the perfectly circular grip. With a regular sword, you can feel the ovular grip in your hands, and you can feel the edge.
And also just because, like, the blade itself is just so fat, it creates a lot more drag while you're trying to swing it.
Oh, yeah. And Michael, if you're watching this later, or right now, I don't know who's joined or left the chat, you've done the same thing Aram was doing earlier. Your blade has just come up to a swing, and your foot has moved forward, and your blade is not in front of you. I want you to really work on exaggerating this. I want you to be almost all the way in long point before you step.
So ideally, the best way to punish this would just be to poke my sword forward.
Yes, absolutely. Or, so right here you could stab him in the face, but then you also risk his follow-up shot
then I
hitting you
would
right in
get
the head,
hit.
right? So what has happened here is by moving his feet first, he's moved his whole body. That's a big tell that he's swinging at you. And it seems you actually caught on to this tell because you actually come and you get the release. Oh, you cut around. This is very odd. So what's happened here is he's thrown some kind of cross cut at you. I think maybe he was aiming for your sword or something. He's
I
cutting
didn't really
over here.
quite pick that
See,
up.
this person in the background, this is Marcus. He's cutting over here at Marcus for some reason, which allows you to just cut around to his wrist. If this were a cut that were directed at you, I would say cut a middle cut across into his sword, because he's just giving you a big tell that he's cutting at you, right? So you just cut into his sword and you're safe. And you get to hit him at the same time.
Okay.
Instead of-
Yeah, that's part of the drill today. Cut into the sword, seek a bind, and then I would be in a perfect position to move it for a stab.
Exactly. And I will say the boffers are very, very sticky, so it's very difficult to get thrusts with them. It's that's
Oh
not it.
yeah,
It's also a
almost
geometry problem.
impossible.
Let's take a look at that real fast.
Mhm.
This is something I've been trying to demonstrate. So here's my, is there an oval on here? Here's my regular sword cross section, right? I've got a steel sword. Let's make it a lot tighter. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Make that
Yep.
make that gray.
Yep.
Here's my regular sword cross section. If I am a person hiding behind this sword, oh gosh, that's weird. Here, no, I'll just do the brush. If I'm a person hiding behind the sword here, and I'm a person over here trying to land a thrust, I can hold my sword at this kind of angle and still land my thrust, right? That's not too terrible an angle, right? That's pretty normal for me to hold my sword at that angle. So I can hit you here, I can hit you here, I can hit you here. All of these angles would work. So now let's take a look at a boffer cross section. This massively massive thing here. And here's my same person back here. That's a bit of a fat person, but that's okay. It'll work for the demo. Now I am another person. I'm another person over here. In order to hit you now, I have to essentially have my sword over this way, or I can have it this way. Or you see how this little, it's not too much of a terrible change in cross section, but it's created a massive kind of angle difference, right? See, all of these over here, I could theoretically be holding my sword, and I can transition from like short guard on my right to short guard on my left, and I can hit you around your sword. For this, I have to like take a massive step offline in any direction to even have a prayer of hitting you around this massive cross section. And that's just an aspect of the geometry of buffers. So, not to mention they
I
stick
know
to each other like
that.
glue.
It's really hard to like punch through that and
yeah,
find
definitely.
an opening.
And you'll also find this same kind of thing with wooden swords, which is why I was able to fight for wooden swords for years and not receive any terrible injuries from thrusting. It's really hard to land a thrust with a wooden sword, just simply because of this geometry change.
What the fuck am I looking at?
You're looking at a diagram. All right, for those who came in late, this is a cross section of a steel sword, and these are the lines where you can land a thrust going around the sword. This is the geometry of a foam boffer, and these are the ridiculous lines you have to take to land a thrust around it.
I'm sorry I'm late, Professor. I got stuck in traffic. My dog was run over by a car.
That's tragic.
Nicole, is this being recorded?
Did you just call me Nicole?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yes, it's being recorded.
too late now. Moving on.
Anyways, back to the fight. Once again, we put our leg way in front. This is a big boy step. We got complete straight legs going on here. And our sword is still behind our back.
Yeah, same issue.
Alright, so we're not right away. I will say when you're fighting, this is the only time I'll tell you to turn your back to your opponent. But respectfully, if you're fighting like in a ring, this is why I like to do like a little go-ho turn-around thing. I will turn my back to my opponent, walk all the way back to my side of the ring and turn around, just to create a necessary distance between us. Some people don't do that, and it's a little bit irritating. They'll just start in the middle of the ring, and I'll feel instantly crowded. But right here, if you went to distance and Michael went to stance, you would be too close to start. So a little bit more distance here.
Got it. Sorry.
Watch
about
out behind!
that. I didn't know that.
So right here, again, a distance thing. Michael has a tip forward position. Michael can immediately throw his body forward and stab you. His weight is even loaded on his back foot. Your tip is back. This means if you have a steel sword and he has a steel sword, and he throws that thrust, it has a high percentage to land if he can throw it quickly. With the boffers, we run into the geometry issue we just discussed, so you could parry this easier. But this is a massive problem. You're not ready to move. Your feet are together. His foot is up. He's ready to pounce off this back foot. We need to have our tip forward when he's this close. At
Okay.
100%.
I was thinking, like in my head, I was thinking if he tries to go for the thrust, I could like bring the sword down and somehow try to deflect that.
All right.
But yeah, I can see how.
It's a perfectly valid thought. It's a very valid technique. And if you were fighting peasants in the 1400s, it would be perfectly good. The problem is the fighters that we are fighting today have been training for years with heavy gear. They know how to fight. They're able to wail on each other. We can train today in a much better capacity than they could train back then, which means it's very likely that we are actually better than they were. The point is, this person throwing the thrust at you can do it way quicker and with way better structure than a peasant can. So if you were 2 feet farther back and he tried to throw the thrust, you can absolutely hard parry that and go into your action. But this close, it's just not worth the risk that he can land that thrust and you're going to miss your parry because you're not fast enough.
Gotcha.
And this is the difference between the basic reading the manuals thinking and the thinking about who you're going to be facing at the tournament.
That's so interesting. I actually wanted to ask about thrusting.
Yes, of course.
So would it be like reasonable if I wanted to do like a really, really long thrust like that? If I would let go with one hand and like almost turn to the side to get like as much reach as possible?
Hell, absolutely.
For like a really.
You can, yeah.
I do it all the time. I don't do it to new people because it's kind of a shit move when you do it to brand new people. But yeah, heck, I do it. The instructor at Dallas School of Historical Fencing does it. Brandon does it.
Okay,
Lauren does it. Kenton sure as
I
heck
very
does it.
rarely do it, actually.
Could you show a demonstration of that next time we meet?
If you remember to ask me, yes, I will.
Okay, I'll write a note down somewhere. Yes.
All right, so where are we now? Wow, we got weight on the back leg. We got a low position. All right, let's see where this goes. All right, so it seems like we're just barely starting to form a little plans here as we come in. Michael seems to think, oh, I'm going to fake you on this side and cut around. And Rum seems to think, I'm just going to countercut. All right, so Michael has made his plan, and he's going to execute it. So I would say, Michael, it's a decent plan. You need to wait until your opponent reacts favorably, which it looks like you more or less did. And remember what I said earlier about aiming at the low openings and how it's risky? That's exactly what happened here. You took a low opening, and a Rum punished it by taking a high opening. So let's go back to this exact point of impact real fast. If we had instead decided to cut a fendente here instead of a mizani across the middle, we can actually intercept a Rum's line of attack, right? I can cut solidly into the wrists, and then because my sword is already up in this position, I can intercept his attack. Instead, we're cutting straight horizontally at the mizani cut, the middle cut, and his attack's just going to come around on top of us. So I think I actually talked to you guys about this today, about the possibility of having your attack go across your body and parry the other person's attack while you did your own attack. Does that make sense?
It does.
All
Yeah,
right, awesome.
on my end, I think like it would have been better if I intercepted from the other side.
So
I could probably get a better angle on it.
I'm going to say you probably got duped here. You definitely got duped here, like because Michael comes in with his little flourish, and you immediately move. You've already reacted to his fake attack, and now you've overreacted going the other way because you've realized it's fake, right? But your brain has fired, and he's like, oh, he's going to attack this side, but Michael has duped you, and he has his free attack here. Michael has done everything he needs to land this attack, but then he comes and he throws it flat across the middle, which is why he gets the afterblow. Why you get
To
the
be fair,
afterblow.
he got me good with that one.
Yes. But what I would say is, remember when I was sparring you, I told you to work on not over swinging. This goes with your parry too. Imagine a cone in front of your body. That's really all you have to defend. Because in this particular parry, the exact moment where he knew he had you was here. Your sword is behind you. Your arm is really exposed. His sword is coming at you. This is the exact moment that you are had. Because you have started to panic at this moment and swung your sword back to parry. I would say if you can just sit in short guard, there are two ways that you can deal with this, right? Obviously, you can't mentally outplay your opponent every single time, but if they start doing something that makes you uncomfortable, you can just step back. we call that just refusal, or saying no. You just step back. He's like, I don't want anything to do with that shit.
Okay.
You just step back. Don't play your opponent's game. Make your opponent play your game. If you start playing sorry, go ahead.
To add on to that, as you're retreating, go ahead and swing as you come out of that engagement. Because if you just step back and you're not doing anything, they can still come after you. But if you step back and you're retreating, and then you do just something basic like a downwards cut, then yeah, they'll be like, oh, okay, like
Excellent.
Gotcha.
Actually,
That'll make him back off.
Let me make a
Yeah.
quick. Let me make a quick lesson. Let me quick lesson around that.
Mhm.
All right. So back to the video. Oh shit, where'd it go? So yes, exactly what Lauren said. Do a cut in the direction of their attack as you retreat. But are we at the same? Oh yeah, we're at the same exchange. Yes, just back up. Say no. The moment you start playing your opponent's game, it's the moment that they win and you lose. So you need to make your opponent play your game. And if they're not on board with playing your game, you just need to back up until they break down and they start playing your game. Another thing I would say is that if you had just sat in short guard here and used your Volta Stabile parry, your side-to-side parry, in order to receive this, you could have received its cuts just like you guys were doing a drill, and then you can land your thrust. So I would say overall, either say no to whatever they're doing, just take a step back, or just be calm and trust in your parries, like Kenton likes to say. See, this is the moment of anguish that you have after you realize you've been got.
Oh, I remember this exchange. My jaw still hurts from it.
Oh,
That
Michael,
is-
To
you
be
are
fair,
here.
that wasn't a moment of anguish.
Yeah, I am
He
here.
got me straight in the diaphragm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've just
Yeah,
been
we
Michael.
got
I've just
each
been
other pretty
talking to
good.
you as if you were like some person who's not here. You could have said something. All
Hi.
right, let's move on to the next short video. All right, but hold up. We started before I maximized. All right, so very quick. Let's take a look at this slower. All right, so we're entering with a thrust. This is good. We have our tip in front of us. Our blade is before our body. A rum has nothing to do except come around or try. But now while we're still entering, we're still flying forward and our hands are coming back. So if we're flying forward, we generally don't want our hands to be coming back. And right here, if this were steel swords, this is very questionable. This might have actually hit you in the hands. You see that you've caught it on the very tip of your crossguard, right? With a really thick boffer crossguards. This is very questionable exchange right here. But let's say you barely catch this, right? So we're going in. You don't. I assume your plan is either to attack his side or his hands or something, and not just do it back here.
My plan was to go in for feign, catch his block, and then counterattack. But I way overreacted for the.
So you say right here you detect his attack, and you are gonna feint during his block, or you're gonna.
Well, no, because whenever I had gone in for a feint and then attack, he had always just gone in for a counterattack, and we both died. My plan was to feign an attack and then catch his attack and then counterattack.
Okay, so you're not expecting him to throw this attack that he's about to throw, because his attack obviously starts moving before yours. You think you're gonna fake him out, and then that's a very good plan. That's a very good plan. It's very solid. I would say don't move it while accelerating your body forward like this, because you're just throwing yourself into the fire, which is kind of what happens here, I think, because your plan never really executes. You just catch his parry here with your first feinted attack.
Yeah.
So I would say let's manage our distance a little bit and try that plan again, and it's going to work a lot better if we manage our measure and not just run in. So right here we catch his attack, and he immediately goes into the window parry on the wrong side. It's not the wrong side. He's covering his body. It's probably an angle problem. So we've realized that our plan is failing, and now we're backing up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and watch this whole thing again. Oh shit. And that was just 2 seconds of the video. Did he get your head?
Yeah, that's where I touched my helmet. Yeah, he hit it.
Oh, so you didn't catch this parry. This flapped around your head. Okay.
Yeah.
So Aram just sees you running towards him, and he just hits you. So, this is exactly what I was trying to illustrate in the last video. Because you're still moving forward and your hands are now moving back, your head is open. Right at this moment, Aram can hit you. And he does. Just bam, right there.
I see.
So we need to keep our sword in front of us unless we're going around for an attack.
So I should have done like window guard.
Oh gosh, my spacebar is not working to pause this. If we are going for that specific exchange, because you're entering with a thrust, this is fine. I would say have a plan after your thrust, and don't just enter with a thrust. Because you said your plan started here, right?
Hello.
And
well, I plan to enter with a thrust and catch an attack.
Okay, so it sort of kind of worked.
Yeah,
So the exact moment this plan broke down was right here, where you moved your hands back, and then he was able to hit you in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just thrust in and keep our blade in front of us, we can absolutely go from, because right here, good long point position. A little bit of work. I would say work on the feet, but you're in an intermediate position, so it's fine. You're in the middle of a passing step. Good long point here. From here, all you would have to do is transpose up to window, and then you would have caught the attack perfectly. But we choose to move our hands back, which is why we get hit. All right, let's keep going and see what we got. All right, so we're attacking with a Sutani from below.
I was trying to do the board tooth thing we learned today.
Yeah, I think I saw that earlier. You were trying to do this thing we learned today. So the key behind this action that we learned is we're going to provoke his inside line, which is, it'll be his. You're left-handed, so this whole motion is backwards. So first of all, your boar's tooth will be on your right-hand side because you're left-handed. So in order to do this action, you're going to need to provoke his inside line, which would be his left side in this case, because he's left-handed. We're going to provoke that, and we're going to wait for his sword to move. As soon as we feel his sword start to move, we can do our Mezzavolta over and cut. But I actually noticed this earlier. This is a pretty well thought out action here that you're doing. So let's see how it goes. All right. I think we actually land this action, don't we? Let's look at it again.
I don't quite remember.
So we come up, we provoke.
Yeah.
Oh, we do not. He just barely catches it on the sword. So this is why we need to wait for him to parry first. So the idea of coming in like this is I'm trying to provoke. Watch Michael's sword here. See how it tilts off that side? He's tilting it very early, but we're trying to provoke that response. Now your sword proceeds to go way up behind you, which is unnecessary. All you have to do is go high enough to clear his sword, step offline, and hit the wrist. So by putting your sword back, it gives him just barely enough time to get his sword around a parry. For that parry. But this is a very well thought out action. This could have worked. Just a little bit of adjustment in the footwork and the timing. But this is, overall, I have no critiques, no bad critiques of this. This is very good. This is very well thought out.
Thank you.
And we're safe during an action, so. All right,
If you can wait that one moment, that causes a break in the tempo, which gives you like an extra turn.
So let's see what's going on here. All right, so what's our plan here? We're we're trying to do the same thing again. We're thrusting at he's left-handed, so this would be his outside line, and then we're going to rotate around, and we're going to cut his inside line. This works. Okay, I like this. This is another well-thought-out plan. So, for all of you watching, Aram here starts in what looks to be close to a Pasta Breve here. He is attacking Michael's outside line here. So that's his non-dominant line. And Michael senses this, and watch Michael's sword. The moment Aram feels that on Michael's sword, he's going to come around He's going to round around under the sword, which is kind of weird. But I mean, if it works, then it works. So, and he's going to come around and land this action here to the wrist. And meanwhile, Michael is pulling his sword up. Watch Michael's sword again. Michael expects that attack to come around to his left side, but Aram is going around to his right side. This is a very good example of some deceptive handwork here. I like it. This is also made possible because Aram is left-handed. I could not do this action without getting my hands all crossed. I could do it on my opposite side, but heck not this one.
Wait,
Very nice
Haram is
try.
left-handed?
Aram is left-handed.
Yeah.
Both of these fighters are left-handed, which makes this fight interesting to watch.
Wait, there's 3 lefties?
There's Cooper, there's like 5 lefties.
Yeah.
Oh my
I know where
goodness.
you've been.
Yeah. All the lefties just kind of congregated
I meant,
together.
Like, in this chat, I think.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Alright, let's see what we go from here. We're tapping tips, backing up. Alright.
In the beginning, it's easier for lefties to fight lefties.
Right here, I have a little nitpick, not in the fighting, but just in my own club culture. This is exactly why I like both people to step back before we start the fight. Because right away, Aram's not ready to fight yet. He's still stepping back. Michael is stepping forward. This is kind of a crowding thing. A lot of times when I go to other places and fight, and they don't have the same culture that I do, I'll do this. I will back up and wait for the fight to start, and the other person will just kind of crowd me. And I don't really want to start there. I want to start way farther out. I want to be able to approach and all that. So this is a strategy that you can use. It won't work in a tournament because you have to be behind the line. But in sparring, you can do this. I just don't personally like it. I like to walk all the way out of measure, out of Krieg, out of any of the measures, and then walk back into them. So just a personal nitpick, not a fighting nitpick. Alright, tip forward. So we have to decide what we're trying to do here. You look very upright in this position. Very relaxed. It's not terrible. Let's see it. Alright, so what's our plan here? What are you thinking?
Hello?
I hear you.
Hi.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. For like, I think I missed like 5 seconds.
Okay, so right here, your foot is moved, your sword is still down. If Michael were right on top of his game here, he could throw his sword forward and kill you. Because you're moving your body first again. So that's the biggest takeaway for you from this VOD review is make sure your sword's moving before your body.
Sword first, body second.
But you're able to get this ascending action in. And you're able to get around to Michael's hands, it looks like. Let's look at that again. Yeah, it definitely just straight to the hand. So nothing bad with the action. I'll just say mind the distance and make sure you move the sword first.
Where how? Oh, the second one, the last cut.
That's just a regular.
It gets morphed into a Twerhal.
Just a regular Fendente to me, German heretics.
We explored the master.
And here's another thing right here. We have the bro high five. We have the watch right in the middle. We have the bro high five here, right? And homie totally leaves him hanging.
Whoa! It was not like that. We were
Right
saying
here.
sorry, man.
Oh, somebody meme that.
Yeah,
right there.
I accidentally hit him twice. He stopped fighting. I don't know. I couldn't tell that I made the first contact, and then he was like, I accidentally hit him twice. So I was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
This totally looks like you just went in. It totally went like it went for like the bro high five, and they just left you hanging there.
I mean, that's funnier, so we can go with that.
No, please. I'm not the villain.
Alright, so we have some kind of plan happening here. Alright, so Michael, quiz time. Why was Aram able to hit you here?
Let's run back one more time. Was it because honestly I don't know. Tell me.
Right here, watch your back foot. You're starting your passing step, and what's happening with your sword? Where's it going? It's going
Up and
backwards,
over.
right?
My head is totally exposed.
Right. This is another example of the body moving before the sword. A rum is going to hit you in the middle of your action here. In the Italian, we call this the mezzo tempo. He's in the middle of your action. You're going to get hit right here. And your action still has time to theoretically come around and land, which it does.
Yes.
But you're already dead here.
Oh yeah, my jaw also hurts from that one.
Did I just hear German heresy?
I can't believe we're experiencing firsthand HEMA racism.
Wait, am I accidentally doing German heresy?
So the Germans would call this indes. The Germans have a different way of separating tempo that we do. The Germans have the vor, the nach, and the indes. And the vor means the before, the nach means the after, and the indes means the in between or the immediate. And the vor is what we like to call, or is very similar to what we like to call having the initiative, and the knock is what we like to call sort of not having the initiative. But it's a little bit more fuzzy in the German terms, because the Germans will also have you intentionally fight from the knock, give up the initiative of your opponent, and then perform a counteraction to his action. And they call it Nachreisen.
I believe that
Germans generally fight in the war, though.
Yes.
The system. Lichtenauer says to fight in the war.
Yes, because when you're in the war, generally you're safer. And when you have the initiative in the Italian system, you're generally safer. Nachreisen is a whole subcategory of terms. Lauren, what were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say, I believe that Italians are furries, because if you think of Fiore's, like, 4 virtues, they're all associated with animals, right?
The 4
We
furries
also
of
have
Fiore?
Yep. But we also have something called the vor, right?
The vor is
Oh
German.
no!
Like, think about it. We have uwu cute.
I don't think I want to.
And we also have something called the vor.
Lauren, the
Now,
vor
if
is
you-
German.
But Nick, you
Yeah,
taught
that's
us
not
we're
Italian.
Oh.
Shit.
All right, so
So the
right
Germans
here.
are furry.
All right, back.
So
Okay,
the
back.
Germans are furries.
Back to the Germans are furries. We already knew
Wait,
that.
but Nick, you taught us these German terms.
Kenton.
I mean, that's
Anyway,
this is the
moving on.
second time.
All
This
right,
is like
so
the 5th time I've been called a furry.
so let's move on. Let's see what happens here. All right, there's our double action, our mezzo tempo action. All right, we got some provoking going on here. Blade. All right, so are we just poking and prodding to see what he'll do, or are we trying to follow up with something? Because generally, if you're fighting a more advanced fighter, Michael, and you get this close just to poke and prod, they will punish you in 7 different ways. So we need to have some kind of follow-up to this. And that follow-up can be as simple as I'm going to cut across the line while I retreat, or it can be as complicated as I'm going to go kill him somehow, some fancy something way.
What's that back foot doing on Michael?
Yeah, he does look like he's very front-loaded here.
Yeah.
But you're very You're either very committed to this action, or you're very committed to your ability to explosively back away from this action.
Would a window work here?
For who?
Bye. Hello.
For who specifically? Who's going in the window?
On my end. Like, in order to intercept, if I went into the window, then I could, like, position a strike.
It's posta di finestra.
Yes. If you went into the Royal Guard of True Window, because we're English speakers here in America, on your left-hand side, then yeah, you could pose a strike. But since he's moving back, you can also just use your Mezzo Volta action. And for you German heretic in the audience, that's the Zucken action, where you just come up above. And you just come up above the tip of his sword and smack him, just like we practiced today. Because he's not providing, while he's moving back, he's not providing any immediate threat. So you can just come up above his sword and smack him. Alright, so let's watch this again. Instant replay. What's going on here? We have some kind of jumping action from Michael.
I almost stopped myself there, because, yeah, that would have ended horribly.
Alright, so what I see here is we're both coming in, we have a little bit of intent. Arum, I see your feet are coming together, you're getting ready for that lunge. Michael is currently stepping across his body, so you actually have a very good attack towards his inside line here. And it looks like you're gonna You're gonna feint his outside line. You're gonna take that attack towards the inside line. You got no complaints here. Just make sure we're covering ourselves after this, because if Michael had at this exact moment here decided to throw a Fendente towards your head, there's nothing you could have done. And he might have cut into the tendons on that arm, but he can still land it with his other hand.
Gotcha.
So make sure we're defending ourselves after that. And in a lot of steel tournaments, after blows will count regardless of whether or not you cut into a major muscle group. So right here, after that, we can go up into our window on our right and defend ourselves. Or just back up aggressively. Let's watch it again one more time to try to... Nice down. We got some steel fighting going on here in the background. Very good. Selkie in her custom jacket. Alright, so what are we doing here? What's our plan?
That was a mistake on my part, to be honest.
So yeah,
I went in with a heavy attack. There was no plan.
So right here,
Dark Soul boss move.
What's gonna happen 90% of the time is your opponent's just gonna stab you right in the chest.
Yeah.
And you're gonna cleave their head in two. Unless they stab you with a high thrust, in which case they're just gonna catch your arms. Again, remember we move the sword before the body.
Yep.
Alright, we look like we're starting to get tired here a little bit.
After this, can we review ours?
The video that we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Alright, there we go. We got some little actions going on. Some false actions. Alright, so main takeaways for both of you. Make sure that we are controlling our distance. Make sure that we're keeping our tip in front of us when we're close enough. And let's make sure we move the sword before the body.
Understood.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yes. Alright, so...
How insightful.
It's down. Lower.
There we go. This is Bilal and me from... Heck, if it's on YouTube, let's just go to YouTube. I like YouTube's player a lot better than Discord's.
Oh, I've seen this
y'all
one.
ready to see me get beat up? You guys ready to see me get beat up a little bit?
Already did.
I think I lost most of the exchanges.
It was hard to tell.
What the fuck are you doing, bro?
I was just standing emoji. Like for 13 whole ass seconds, just look, standing emoji. But I feel like you got a lot of light attacks on me, but I feel like when I committed to my actions, I would get through your guard a lot.
Yeah.
Alright. 13 seconds of standing emoji, Nicholas.
You can fast forward a bit.
I feel like I was already tired at this point. I feel like Bilal was also already tired at this point of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, this was one of the last fights.
Alright, so... Also, I'm out of the frame for a lot of this fight, so it's hard to see what I'm doing. So look at me standing too close with my hands exposed. I don't remember if I'm doing it on purpose or not. Right here, I'm pretty sure I landed that thrust, but you also landed to my hand. So that would be double.
Yeah.
See,
I wasn't expecting to get rushed at. Just like...
So right here, my sword has already started moving. How
I would
can I make this better?
You should have ended in probably like a poster, a lower hang. In the German, would say lower hanging, because like my sword is low, too. Absetting it out. Yeah, you need to go into a lower like flug position.
It's like a plow, like a flug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you definitely landed that hand shot on the way back. What? And the reason you hear me counting is because at DSHF, during Andrew's classes, we do 15 regular exchanges and then what they call tournament 5, which is 5 more serious exchanges where you really don't want to get hit. Generally, they'll have someone judging you.
I would totally submit one of my fights. However, I look cringe.
This is Bilal's favorite position to fight from. In German, they call it the Fullsguard. He likes to use it to hit your hands from below.
Fuck you, Bilal. No, I'm just kidding.
I like long point. It's just
count hand shots at club though, right?
So
they're nice. You got a nice suppression on the blade. I had to back out. If I didn't get out as fast.
I think you caught that. Did you catch that? Yeah.
Yeah. On that initial one, if I didn't back out as fast, I would have been done for.
Let's watch that at slow motion speed.
It's hard to see from this angle.
I catch your blade. You get the shoot forward. You get the snap in motion while we were in bind.
I can't see anything.
So from here, after I get this motion on your blade, we separate. And right here, we're entering a bind, and you get a snap in motion forward to my head. Right there, you can hear the sound.
I can't hear your video.
I was really hoping that you would like back up and start over here, so I could like breathe as I came in.
Oh, yeah. I should have reset farther.
Well, just
My bad. One-handed thrust.
Oh yeah, there's an example of your one-handed thrust right there, and this is an example of when it can yay or nay work. If Bilal had been half a foot closer to me, that thrust would have nailed me. But I remember parrying that, and I was able to secure the hit on his hands whilst he was retreating. Yeah. It's kind of an all or nothing action. If you miss it, you're very, very open. Right there, my cut phase.
At this point, I'm still too confident in my ability to back up.
Bro, nice.
Oh.
So what happens here?
Slow it down a bit. I think it might be a double. Let's look at that again.
I think one of us was flat. I think you might have said yours was flat. I don't remember. I think you just did in the video. You guys can't hear my video, can you?
No.
No.
Oh.
Nope. No.
It's so fun to imagine the noises.
They look like lightsabers from this low. Oh wait, no, so what am I doing wrong here, guys? Look, my body is moving, my sword is coming back.
Yeah, I noticed this and go for just a Oberhau right on you.
Right there. Okay, so yeah.
Right in the face, bro.
But yeah, I think this comes down on. Was that a thrust?
Yeah, no, you got Oberhau right to my head, and I got the Fendente right to your arm. So I came around. I got your shot in your arm. This was a double.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chad, this is why you move your sword first and not your body.
Not you saying yeah, Chad.
Chat.
Hey Chad, welcome to my HEMA live stream. Today
XQC.
we're gonna
There's chat.
Streamer moment.
Here.
This is Bilal being absolutely stationary and me flailing around.
I think did I parry the second?
I'm not sure what happened there. Let's watch it again.
Yeah, here.
Right there. I heard a noise. Hold up, I heard a noise. Let's watch this slow
Think
motion.
your sword bends? Question mark.
Does it? Noise. Sorry.
Oh, it's
What? Oh, here you go for the Oberhau. I hit.
Oh yeah, this is
no,
another.
You got him.
This is an example of the knock horizon. This is an example of the knock horizon we were talking about afterwards. So you see, I'm attacking here, so I technically have the initiative, but Bilal is doing the German thing called knock horizon, where he's attacking while he's not having the initiative. He waits for me to go for this Fendente here, and then he just cuts at my hand during the middle of my action. So we call it a mezzo tempo action. Right there.
And then, yeah, he moves first. I wait for him to move, hit the hands and back up.
It's a very annoying thing that the Germans do.
Yeah.
I really got to work on it.
Kenny loves this.
I can't see anything happening here.
Some flourishing. But I like this one. What happened there? I think we kept going.
Yeah, we did keep
going. I think that hit was flat. I think that hit might have been flat, or because I think I got hit. Maybe I just didn't feel it or see it.
I don't think I felt it.
Or maybe I thought it was flat.
Oh, I caught it on my cross guard.
Yeah.
You can see it right
but
there.
there's a cut to my hand there, but I think it looks flat to me because of the way the sword is bending.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you caught that in your cross guard for sure. And then I caught yours on my cross guard right here. You can see your sword right here on my crossguard.
Okay.
And I would have had that slice across here, but that was very flat. I think at this moment I thought I landed that, but no, it was off.
I guess I didn't feel that. Or...
No.
Usually with the hand hit, I usually go by sound since I can't feel much through the gloves. They hit the crossguard, didn't hit my hand. Plastic. Okay, I avoid that. I raised my point up. That's the thing I already talked again.
Nice double parry there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Here
one.
I go for a thrust.
I don't know if I hit your crossguard or your wrist there. I think we
I think
thought that yours crossguard.
Yeah, it's still going. It looked like crossguard to me.
Alright, good night. I'll see you later.
Alright, good night.
Good morning.
Good night.
That one missed. We're still going. Oh, my fat ass is in the way.
Yo.
I don't know.
Oh, there we go. Side of the head right there. You got this.
Untertwehr.
Unterhau action on me, but I got the. Zork to the side of your head.
Yeah, it broke through again.
Oh, and there's a.
Yeah, my hands weren't. Yeah, my hands weren't high enough. So. For the Untertwehr, your hands are supposed to be pretty high.
Third one in a row.
Oh! This is when you caught me right on the balls.
Oh.
Wait, let me see.
I Untertweared you in the balls?
Yeah, no, you directly to the balls.
You were in a cup?
No.
You kept. How'd you keep going?
Right there. Oh, see, it wasn't a very hard action. Yeah. I don't think it would have cut had it landed on my torso, but it was right to the balls. Oh, and that was this is the one that convinced me to actually get a cup because I got hit in the balls with steel swords 3 times during this same session. This is why I say it's the 3rd time in a row. You were the last person hitting me in the balls. I was extra careful to defend them after that.
I actually did accidentally clip a new guy in the balls with the saber once. He didn't have a cup.
Around in a circle. This is why I'm walking around in a circle right now.
Man. That's just the circle button. You hit a man in the balls, they walk in a circle.
If they're not writhing on the ground, yeah.
Remember that time whenever Dax like cracked Liam right in the nuts?
I do not remember.
It was during a
Wednesday. There's that nasty ass action that Bilal likes to do.
Yeah. Stretch into the hands. The false edge?
Yep. Yeah. No, that was a true edge even.
Oh yeah, it's true edge because
you're in thumb grip.
Yeah, I'm in thumb grip.
What the heck was that? What just happened?
There was a cut to my leg, then I just thrust it out. I think your cut caught on my leg.
I caught it, but you definitely caught the thrust too. I saw the blend. That one you said got through to your head. I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it. You said it got through, and you said you got sparks in your eyes here.
Oh yeah. I think it was pieces of paint.
This is me being in pain after the ball shot.
Oh, that's what you were doing.
Mixed poor nut.
I thought you were just tired.
Well, that too, but.
Yeah, I tried that knock rising again.
I start looking for it eventually.
Yeah.
There's the hands. You hear the sound, the really loud spez heavy sound. That one, I think, caught right in between your hands.
Oh yeah,
it would have been a perfect tournament shot, but it caught right on your handle.
I remember I said handle. Well, it depends on the tournament whether the handle counts or not. But usually at our club we don't count the handle.
Can the judges even see that it's the handle?
They can hear. But yeah, because wood versus plastic.
There I catch you to the forearm.
Yeah. I think I gotta try to be more dynamic with my footwork. Right now I'm pretty linear.
You're very still.
Yeah.
Save a lot of energy that way. That was the Germans would call it a Nuclear, sort of.
Yeah, you got me on the outside line. I didn't expect. I'm bad at the outside line parry.
Okay, wait, what happened there? Did I land that?
Yeah, you got 2 Twarehouse on me. Looks like I just came in.
Alright, so how many people do I still have in my chat here? Oh, it's plenty of people. Okay. So guys, you remember? Oh shit, we just started the video order. Where were we?
Yeah, only one person left.
I think it was right here, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was a little farther. Nope, farther. Yep. Right here. The thing we were practicing a few weeks ago, or even today we did this. I think. Is this the one? Is this the one? Nope. Yeah, the next one. Got me to the hands. Right here. Cut through pasta to Donna. Cut to the other side.
That was a Twarehouse on the second one. Caught you lacking. Italian.
Was it? Was it really?
It was a Twarehouse, yes. But
how can we be sure?
I found that funny.
it goes horizontal over your head.
Yeah,
see right there. It ends in arc.
No.
It's horizontal. Look at the edge. It's horizontal.
Look at the position of my thumb, though. I'm not in thumb grip. Anyway, we're attacking one side, and then you can see right here that his sword is still in danger of hitting me. If I just come up, he can just smack my hands, or he can do some other nasty German thing that I don't know about. But because I keep my sword right here, I'll keep my head covered, and I can attack the other side.
I don't know what I was doing there. I just rushed in.
Italians love it when you rush in. That's their favorite thing.
Yeah.
That's like what the Italian art is made for, is somebody rushing at you.
Yes. 15.
The Germans want to do their thing where they fight to the first blood to the head or whatever.
Silly Germans. I'm just kidding.
I'm not sure what happened there. Let's watch that again.
Yeah.
If I'm recalling my history correctly, I think that Fiore was before Lichtenauer Meyer, wasn't he?
He was around the same time as Lichtenauer, but way before Meyer.
Because I recall some aspects of Meyer's school. Meyer says, hey, we're not actually learning this because we're going to fight in the streets, but this is more like a sport for honor kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, Meyer is more of a philosophy than of fencing in any situation.
Fiore is like, all right, we're going to cut down some peasants today in the street.
Yeah. Here, I throw a Twarehouse, then I go into hanging parry, and then I come around.
That definitely lands to my head. Did mine not land there to your hands? Or your head here? Did you get that parry in?
Yeah. Looks like it. This is a master cut in the German. This one's called a Twarehouse. It depends all descending cuts. So you see that one. But
right
it ain't. Right there.
I think I might have landed on your hand, but it's very, 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 very hard to tell.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether I landed on your hand, I am very dead right here. That was a clonk to my head. That's halfway through my cranium.
Would the Twarehouse still protect you if they pronated their wrist upwards to kind of angle that like a descending cut, like at the very top of the head?
There's a lot of
like a Scheitelhau. Yeah, it would. It should defend against unless the person is like way taller than you, because the Twarehouse is supposed to be thrown with the. You might have to adjust how high your hands are depending on how tall the person is. But yeah,
it's kind of situational because historically the Zorchau, as it said, is described as countering any and all cuts to your head, any and all Oberhau, any Fendente, descending cuts. But most people today know not to just throw a first intention descending cut to your head. So if you tried to do it today, it's very likely you'll intercept it far away or some geometry problem will happen. So it's much better if you do what Bilal just did here and you use it to intercept the second intention cut right here, as he did in his second attack here. Because that way I'm already in measure, I'm throwing true cuts at true cut to him, not feints, and he can use it.
Yeah, it's a good defensive cut, but it still presents the threat. So.
You guys are also the only club I've ever seen that says Twerhau.
Zverhau.
Zverhau.
We don't actually know how they said it. It's spelled different ways in different manuals.
The Twerhau.
Yeah, some places Zverhau, some places Twerhau.
You throw it back. Twerhau.
Just like Dax in that video.
Oh.
Little snipe to the hands there, parried again.
Again.
Oh, I think I landed that one.
Yeah.
You are pretty good at moving back. I found myself having to sprint almost at you.
Yeah.
To be in range of landing my actions. Which is not bad into itself, but I really need to work on my body structure as I do that charging forward.
Big mood.
And my big mistake here is thinking I can move backwards faster than you can move forward.
Oh, I miss you guys.
Usually, most people move forward more faster than they move backwards.
Is this the move where Nick disappears?
Oh, he does
this attack. I'm not sure what happened there because it was off camera.
Yeah.
Why did I spin? Somebody landed something.
I think I remember this. We get kind of close to a grappling thing, but you get away with that spin with the and like a cut.
So I landed that? God damn. Do as I say, not as I do, kids. Don't spin in combat. Okay,
it works.
Here,
it's real.
So I will tell you right now, the only reason I was able to land this is because I was very calm.
Yeah.
In this moment, because I thought I'd hit your fingers here, so my mind was like, all right, reset mine. And then you kept going, and then right there, I'm muscle memory this. And this is a perfect action. This is Boar's Tooth, 2 false edge deflection, 2 head cut.
Yeah. You were very low, so that allowed the sword to get up higher.
Alright, we're done with our 15, we're on to our tournament 5. Oh, I'm lagging here, I'm tired.
That's why I save a little energy for the last 5.
I mean, you still get 2 hand shots on me for the last 5.
Yeah.
2 snap and hand shots.
Just throw a little provoker cut there.
There's one.
Oh, there.
Freaking hate that cut.
This is straight into the hands.
Eventually, I know that eventually, against some people, I will actually punch my hands forward. I will break the rule of move the sword before the body. I will punch my hands forward on purpose, especially if I see you sitting in Fool's Guard or sitting in Middle Iron Gate. I will punch my hands forward to try and get you to try and draw at that stration, and then I will parry and attack you.
Wait, what guard is Middle Iron Gate?
Middle Iron Gate and
Porta de Ferro.
Guard. Yeah, Porta de Ferro and Middle Iron Gate and Fool's Guard from the German system is tip forward and tip down. It's this guard you see Bilal in right. Let's see if we can catch it.
Yeah, there.
Right here. This is Fool's Guard. You see
It's
Bilal
called
on
Fool
the right.
because the one doing it is the Fool and the one attacking is also the Fool.
Yes.
So it's like full Iron Gate, but to online.
So you'll see right now, if I just thrust forward and Bilal, I can almost certainly land this thrust. But I will almost certainly be giving up my hands in the process. Like, there's no way I can land this thrust where he doesn't hit my hands. And there's no way he doesn't hit my hands if I go through the thrust.
Well, what I'm doing if you do thrust is I'm trying to stration out of the way, get you to the outside line.
But Fool's Guard and Middle Iron Gate are relatively synonymous. That's why the Boar's Tusk is different, because it's like a Fool's Guard, but it's specifically held off the center line. And it's meant to cut diagonally across the line instead of straight up.
So Fool's Guard is...
Yeah.
There's an actually fucking hand shot again.
But on center line, right?
There's it again! 3 times!
That's the easiest thing to do.
There's a strike to the hand that I thought I caught. Yeah.
Did you get that one?
Yes, I got. I think I got the hand shot and the elbow shot, but we only saw the elbow shot. Right there, I will tell you, right here, I was not ready to start fighting yet.
Oh, okay. That's why I got that. Here I tried being more aggressive. Ah, my Balestra lunge.
Yo, what was the
It didn't
thing
work.
with your foot? I think I landed this one actually. Yeah, no, I landed that final exchange.
That was a fun exchange.
Yes,
the
it
last
was.
one.
You did the epee fencer, no, the saber fencer lunge from Olympic fencing.
It's called a Balestra lunge. Andrew calls it a Balostra lunge.
Balostra lunge. That's funny.
All right, who do we lose? We lost.
I remember
lost
seeing
both.
someone do that before.
We lost both Arum and Michael.
That's okay.
All right, what other videos should I review? I've got one more from Arum and Michael, and that's it. Anybody want to submit one?
No.
Let's take a look at this while we're here. All right, so you know what? Let's do something different. Whenever I see something, I'm gonna pause the video, and I want you guys to point out what we see. All right? How's that sound?
All right. Ooh, nice little game.
All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. What's going on with the Rum right here?
He moved his legs forward while pulling the sword back.
Good. So there's something going on right here. Tell me if anybody. There's the whole 8 seconds we just watched. There's something going on. See, you can point it out.
The legs are not bent.
It has to do with measure.
You got a little snipe shot.
Let's watch these 8 seconds again. Right here we're good. Now we're not good. We're bad. Now we're good again. All right, now we're not good. All right, so we're consistently moving too close together and just sitting there. Either one of these players could just throw a thrust forward from this range, and it's over immediately. All right, so again, what we got here? Look at a Rum.
They were too close.
He's
What just
again,
happened here?
moving while drawing his sword back.
Moving while drawing his sword back, yes. You can see it really obviously here. And Michael, if you're watching the rest of this video later, if Aram ever does that, or if anybody ever does that to you, you can just get a quick snipe shot to the hands or the forearms, and then just back up furiously, and parry thereafter low.
I hate fencing in public.
Why? Look at all these people.
I went to a tournament at a park once.
Yep, already have one up there.
You should come to our practices more, Bilal. Get some college students to watch you. Alright, what's going on here?
Oh, we got another steel one to review, if you want to look at that.
Yes. Wait, between
Daniel,
the two of us? Or between...
Daniel B, no, check the fight
heck
review
yeah!
channel.
Daniel B and Selkie. Somebody ping Selkie if she's not already in the chat. Is she here? Am I done? Alright, so there, perfect example. We're standing too close. Aram just takes a pot shot and lands it. It's because we're too close.
This was annoying to film because they just kept spinning.
Well, I mean, that's not terribly bad. Spinning, some people will tell you to avoid spinning and spinning and spinning during a fight, but it's not inherently bad. The point of circling your opponent is to constantly change the line, and you can circle the other way at any point to change the line back, right? Like what I told you.
I think the danger is you both double because you keep opening up like a new angle, and if you both throw a cut from that like certain position at a certain time, then you can double pretty easily.
Specifically, what I told people today is we're sitting in Boar's Tusk. We're a normal right-handed fencer and not lefties. We're sitting in Boar's Tusk.
I'm a lefty.
Yeah, we're sitting in Boar's Tusk and we throw a thrust deliberately to their inside line. So we're thrusting across their body. And then once they parry the thrust, we're going to come up with our mezzo stabile. Fuck, I can't even remember my Italian words this late at night.
More steel.
Mezzo volta action, or our Zucken action in German, where they're coming up above and we cut to the other side. So from Boar's Tusk, we thrust at their left, our right, and then as soon as they parry, we come up and we strike them on our left, their right. So if we add a little tiny circling step into this action, where we're slowly circling to our right, we can constantly be threatening that inside line. So as soon as we throw that thrust, they are more prompted to throw that parry, and then we can attack the outside line with more precision. All right, let's check out Selkie's first ever steel sparring against Lauren.
So for Selkies, most of the criticism, why did I say criticism? Most of the advice given probably focus on her because I was busy trying to see like what else I could see for her to work on.
All
so
right.
I have some stuff in mind, but more stuff from there would be appreciated. But if you want to bash on me, that's chill.
We love bashing on our Knight Commander, right?
I'll bash you in. I'll
Yes,
bash your
you will.
skull in. I'm gonna fucking bam.
Guys,
break
she
your
knows
nut.
where
No,
she knows where I sleep.
I do.
I think we all know where you sleep now.
I know where you live.
Anyways, let's get on with this. Check this out. All right, wait, right away. What are we doing? What is this little skip? Right here. So are we trying to provoke? We're kind of landing in a good position, but right aware. We have a moment where we're not really aware in the fight. I hear somebody furiously typing.
That's Bilal.
Oh yeah.
Selkie,
I
you
type
have a
at
mic.
83. I type at like 80 WPM, and I have a clicky keyboard. So.
Wait, Selkie's not in the chat. Never mind.
Nope.
Somebody ping Selkie. Get her in the chat. So, right here we're landing in a stable stance, but we have kind of a moment where, remember what I said, running out of attack points earlier? It's kind of the same thing. Right now, we're kind of present as we come forward. Right now, we can see the whole body relax. We're not present. If Lauren strikes right here, and Lauren has told me multiple times that in this point, she's kind of acting as an instructor here, more than a sparring partner, and trying to get Selkie to do certain things. But if Lauren decides to strike in this moment, Selkie's essentially caught with the zipper down, if you know what I mean. Caught with your pants hanging down.
So you gotta keep the upper body loose, but the lower body has to be tense.
Right,
it's kind of difficult.
King has been made.
So right here we got a thrust and a parry. Did this land, Lauren?
I believe it's.
It worked.
I'm gonna have. I don't remember.
All right, so we have a
It
little
did
bit
not
of
work.
we have a little bit of
Selkie's gonna
contact to
consult.
this glove down here.
Here again, you could get hit.
It either skimmed or it hit.
Okay, so
Either
right here below, they are now resetting. They're not fighting.
okay.
Right? As soon as you hear those tips touch, they're fighting again. So right here, a little bit too close. I would be willing to wager if you both went to long point here, we would be a little bit too close.
We would.
So Selkie, if you're watching this or if you can hear,
Selkie's not here.
Try and manage your. Oh, I'm recording this as well. So try and manage your distance.
I would say keep the hands higher too.
Mainly what I want to see here is take this and go into like a pasta longa or a pasta breve. And
Yeah, that would be the best.
Infinitely safer.
Fucking drawing and then my laptop died!
Oh, rip. Guys, are we gonna have another jacket design live stream after this?
I need to cleanse, but yes.
I'm working on my own custom thing. I spent
Alright, so
all
there we
day
go.
making an emblem.
So Selkie, I'm not gonna be too critical because this is your first ever time. I think this is your first time sparring, isn't it? And definitely your first time sparring with steel. So as we come in, we need to be a little bit more present here. We're just kind of throwing.
I don't think Selkie's here. Yeah, Selkie
again,
is not here.
I'm gonna keep talking to Selkie as if she is here, and then I'll ping her later and get her to watch the recording. But Selkie, you need to keep your hands far. You need to be a little bit more present. If you kind of just come in with your tip here, I think it's a little farther back. You kind of just come in with your tip here, and then Lauren kind of checks you, and you kind of shut down. We have a little more going on here. People in the background are fighting more intensely than the people in the foreground. Who could do this fight back here? I'll review that too. Alright. So what I would say immediately is some elements are coming out that make it very clear it's your first time sparring. What I would say is go to high guard, throw an attack, and see what happens. Throw 2 attacks, see what happens. Throw a Fendente followed by a Sotani, see what happens. A lot of new people get into the habit of poking and prodding like this because they're afraid to go in. We can't be afraid to experiment when we're brand new. We need to figure out really quickly what works and what doesn't. And by keeping ourselves too terribly safe, we don't really discover it at the speed that we want to. So just try throwing an attack that's meant to hit and hurt your opponent. A cut, a thrust, heck, a slice if you're close enough. Go in and go for it, and that's how we're gonna learn the fastest here.
Yeah, you'll probably just keep getting hit in the hands in the beginning, but
yeah. So right here,
eventually you'll learn.
We have the crossing, exactly what we practiced in the last couple practices. Lauren has the overbind the crossing. She has this opportunity to go for this false edge to the head right here. So let's see how Selkie reacts. I'm assuming Lauren is holding her attacks back for a couple of seconds, which is what I've asked from most of my instructors, so the new people can figure out how to respond to different situations. But Lauren has this opportunity to just do this false edge Sotani right here to the side of your head. So keep that in mind. Right here you are in danger unless you go into that window guard. And we practiced this today, actually. Alright, so we have this kind of coming around reaction. So I would say we need to realize right here that we're in danger. Right here, we're in mortal danger. And we need to go up into our window guard. And we need to either back up, cut across the line, it needs to be back up, or we need to go into our window guard and we need to commit to stepping offline or stepping into a grapple. I would say that your best option here would be to just go into the window and try and back up. We see that you're loaded here on your front foot. So my offensive action would be, if you are balanced, you're going to take this front foot and you're going to advance it off the line, and you're going to go into window, you're going to go through Pasta de Dawn and cut around. But since we're loaded on this front foot here, that's not an option because we can't step with this foot. So our snap reaction here should be panic, window, get the heck out of there.
I was gonna bring this up to Selkie earlier, but I think I forgot. But I did tell her that there was stuff about distance management and to not get like super close as shown like a few seconds from right here.
Yes.
But yeah, TLDR, it was like just grappling and you could have sword, blah blah blah. But it's just best to not get this close unless if you're comfortable doing stuff in this measure. But overall, no bueno, no thank you.
So another Fiore thing that Lauren could do from here is reach over and grab your sword, and then you're just toast. You're just French toast with syrup. So we want to avoid, like Lauren said, getting too close. And what you actually continue to do here is you try and do the offensive action, which is not terrible, but as I've said, right here, you're loaded on your front foot. If you're loaded on your evenly or you're loaded on your back foot, you can actually go to window and you can explode out to the side and you can land that action. But what we're going to see here is that you have to fix your feet before you can cut around. See? Yeah, your foot has to land before you can start cutting around, and Lauren just parries it.
Selkie, does the jacket work?
Got to be a little bit more confident throwing these attacks. Lauren is wearing full kit. She's ready to receive your attacks.
Please don't hit my legs.
But yeah, we're not wearing knee protection here, so we just aim for the upper body. Alright, we have some interesting things going on here. Alright, I'm gonna say chat like a streamer. Alright, chat, tell me what Selkie does wrong right here.
Moving body first.
Moving the body first, that's right. We're doing this kind of spinning flourish motion with the sword, which is fine to distract, but we're moving the body before the sword. And
leading with the hands.
We're in mortal danger here. Look how close Lauren's sword is to your hands. If Lauren chose to be aggressive here, she could stack your hands.
This will be sparring for everyone in the close-up club. Does one of you want to spar Antoine next? Hot? You got hot?
I realized I forgot to pull off the overall.
Not Antoine walking in the foreground. Alright, there we go. This is let's watch this again, see what's going on here.
Yeah, right here she hit me, so that was very good.
Alright, so right here, this is a better instance of the same thing. You tried to do this earlier and it didn't work because of your feet. Look at where your feet are now. We're leading with our right foot. Now we're loaded on the correct foot. We're ready to spring out to the side with our back foot. So instead we choose to do an advancing step here, which is rather odd. We're keeping the same line. So you did actually hit Lauren here, so we can't complain too much. But I will say this is happening because Lauren's going nice and slow with you. If we want to hit this action more aggressively, right here at this point, after we've made contact, we're set up in a good spot here. We're going to take this back foot, and we're going to advance it to the side, off the line, towards this building over here. Towards this bench, towards this tree, and we're going to cut around to Lauren's forearm aggressively as we do that. Instead, we choose to do an advancing step, and the reason this works is, first of all, Lauren's going nice and slow, and she decides to put her hands up, and she's expecting a shot to her forearm here, but you're actually striking the Mizani to her hands, the middle cut to her hands. So this is why this ends up working. So again, this is better than before. I would still like you to work on the footwork of this action. We see Antoine stripping over here because he just realized we're in Texas and it's hot. Alright. So we've got some German heresy going on here. We
I'm
have
gonna
Lauren.
call you a racially motivated slur. I'm just kidding, that's a joke.
I'm gonna look up some German racially motivated slurs. Anyways.
Don't do that.
I bet there are a lot. We have Selkie coming in here with a thrust that's destined to not land because we don't have any intention behind it, unfortunately. So Lauren is actually, she's not stepping. What Lauren could do to make this action more deadly for you is actually, again, take that back foot, step off the line, step towards the camera. And now the thrust will miss entirely and we have that clean shot to the hands. We see it lands right here in this frame. If this thrust were a bit more intended or a bit more covered, or if we had just taken this true edge and rotated it more into the incoming sword, we would have a good chance of landing this. Let's watch it one more time to try that. Right here, Lauren preps her shot. She knows what you're about to do. Bam.
I love seeing Sam in the background do his little steps.
Alright, again, so that thrust looks like it had a little more intent behind it, which is good. But we're just kind of running in and poking. We can watch it again. We're kind of just running in and poking and then running around. We need to have a plan to follow up this initial provocation. Right now, I don't remember all the German words for the phases of the fight, but the phases of the fight, as I like to think of, is we have the entry, which is where we get close enough to our opponent to hit them. But obviously, I can't just walk up to my opponent because they'll just kill me. So I have to do something to get in there. We have
Perfekten Krieg Abzug.
Yes, we have what the Germans call the Krieg, the war, which is the exchange of blows that happens when we are in measure, when we're close enough. And we have the exit, which is getting out. And before all this even happens, we have the feeling out of the bind and the opponent and all of that. So right here, you're doing an entry and a quick exit. Then there is no Krieg, there's no war, there's no exchange. What we're looking for is that exchange. So right here, if we're just trying to provoke, we can do that with just moving our body slightly. We don't have to rush in like this. Because right now, all you're doing is you're throwing one intentioned attack, and then you're exposing yourself. So let's be a little bit more careful with our poking and prodding, and when we do this entry like this, let's have a plan to follow it up.
You could have finished that Grumpel, Lauren.
I could have.
Let's see it again. Where? Right where?
In the first initial attack. It was...
Right
kind
here?
Of, yeah. Oh no, not... Where was it?
We're all seeing things, guys.
Were you paused before and talking? Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's like a Grumpel on the blade.
What Bilal is saying is that right here, right there,
yeah.
Right there, you're in danger of Lauren doing an offensive action. You can do the German krump into your blade and then wind into your chest. Because we're not intending, we have no intention with the thrust. We've thrown our attack such that we've thrown our thrust and we're out of attack points. Now we're vulnerable. And again, we're just, as soon as we're in measure, we're standing, we're just relaxing. Lauren is ready to hit you because she knows you're close enough for her to hit you. And you are slacking. Right here, we are too close to be slacking. We need to be attentive. We need to be intent. We need to know that we are in danger. We need to be about here before we can be slacking.
There are applications, but generally every attack has to be done with an intent and a threat.
See little pot shots to the hands. That's what happens when you just get too close. We gotta maintain our measure. I just picked up the wrong plug and tried to drink out of it.
Yeah, don't do that.
There was nothing in it. I was very confused. We can't really have a good angle here of what's happening, but it looks like there's just a series of cuts and Lauren is parrying and Buster Brave. Alright, so what happened there, Lauren? I didn't see it. It doesn't look like any action would have actually had cutting potential.
Nothing.
That's 3 minutes if anybody cares.
Oh.
So because nothing hit, we just both backed off and reset. But we're still in the fight.
Lauren, I still say you're being nice here, but if you're not being nice, you can definitely press that. The moment you see your opponent slack, just devour. Rawr, rawr, rawr. Alright, there we go. We have... What do we got here? We're aiming for a thrust. We're trying to bind first, and we're doing a thrust, right? But we've gone in the bind here. What we should be doing here is we should be feeling the bind. And what we should feel here is that we're very weak in the bind. Our very tip is on Lauren's very strongest part of her blade. So by throwing this thrust forward, we're not accomplishing anything. If we pressed on the blade or we tried to wind around and get that shoulder, that's one thing. Because now we're forcing Lauren into a wider parry. And what we can do here to capitalize on this is to cut around. Do a cut around. Again, your foot, I don't know what's happening with this back foot, but it's going to damage it in the long term. You need to make sure you stay flat on your feet and not bent like this. But what we could do here, if we can make Lauren think that we can land this thrust, then we can do a cut around. As soon as we feel her start to push into our blade. Let's see if you actually do that. Okay, so you do think of it, but you think of it a little bit late. So what needs to happen right here, right at this exact moment we're in the bind, we need to first of all make Lauren believe that she's actually in danger, which she doesn't believe she is because she doesn't move. So if we can make her believe she's in danger here, like really try and sell that thrust, then we can capitalize on it. The second thing is, as soon as we feel her sword start to move towards yours, so that'd be towards the direction of the camera here, we need to pull that sword up and attack the other side. So what we do instead is we wait for this thrust momentum to entirely dissipate, and now we're all hunched over, and now we have the afterthought to cut around, which Lauren easily parries. She might have actually caught it to her hand. Alright, we get the... Alright, so wait, hold up. Alright, chat, what's going on here?
I think Lauren... Oh, right there, nothing.
Right here.
Move blade black? Yeah.
So Lauren is not only close enough to hit you with a single step, Lauren can just not step at all and hit your hands. So it looks to me like you've tried to go for this kind of pushing action, but if you were on the other side of her sword, this would work. But right now, all you're doing is pulling your hands back. So right now, we're going to go through several frames here. Any one of these frames, your hands are open, your hands are open, your hands are open, hands are open. Now we're not open anymore. So for these whole 4 frames, Lauren can hit your hands. And it would just take just a little snapping motion of the wrist for her to do that. So what we can do here, this is not a terrible motion to itself. It's the context. So what we can do here is we can use our Volta Stabile. We can turn our true edge into her sword, we can threaten a thrust. Now Lauren has reason to believe she's in danger. And it's the same as last time. As soon as we feel Lauren pressing back on our sword, then we can go lift our hands up and we can cut around. It looks to me like you just lifted your hands up to cut on the same side again. So let's see what happens. Alright, so we're aiming. Another thing I will say is that we're aiming for Lauren's sword line. Swords were not really meant to cut into each other a whole bunch. They were meant to hit people. So we need to make sure that our target is actually Lauren and not just her sword. Alright, interesting thoughts we have here. Let's watch it again to see how you manage your measure. Right here, we're too close. Right away, Lauren can stab you right in the chest. Alright, so your sword comes out before your body. I like that. And we transpose into this window to prevent the easy cut Lauren throws. Right here. Oh, we're going to fake going around to the other side, and we're going to hit the same side again. I like this idea. Unfortunately, Lauren is calm enough to stay in her short guard and just parry you. So, we go from here. Okay, right now, we are still fighting. I'm assuming nothing was landed here, right?
I believe so.
Because right now, no, you guys are definitely slack here. Right now, we are still fighting. And you are slack. Lauren, you're also a little slack. I'm going to go ahead and assume that this was because you were being nice. But Silky, you are very slack here. You just came in right here where you run out of hit points, and now you're just relaxing. This opponent is going to be eating your scrambled eggs right now if you're relaxing. You need to get the hell out of dodge. You need to be like back here. That's a lot of space. That's like a whole 1.5 meters of space you need to cover before you get to relax. So that's the thing. You did the entry well. You did your Krieg. You didn't land anything, but that's okay. You now need to exit. You need to exit quickly. You can't just stay in measure.
We'll all crank the music up.
That's the TV next room.
Oh shoot! Alright. We'll all crank the TV up. Yeah. No,
tell them to shut the beep up. Alright, again, we're poking and prodding. Let's be more deliberate about it. Same with you, Lauren. You're in measure here. You can throw that attack and land it. You guys are both too close to each other. And right there we see it. You think you're far enough to get away with throwing your sword out and going in, and then Sulky realizes that she's close enough to hit you, and she just kind of bops you here. So you can watch it again. Right here, you think you're farther away than you are. You come in, you throw your sword, Sulky just bops you.
I'd say for Lauren, don't be afraid to punish a little bit more. You don't want to be like with the beginners, shut down everything they try to do, every plan, because they won't learn that way. But if you're too forgiving, then that doesn't work either, and they get bad habits early on.
All right, Sulky, look, you did it, you did it. Look at your footwork. Bam, look, perfect. Right here.
Yeah, that was good.
We're gonna come in, we're gonna enter with our cut. We're gonna wait for Lauren to see. We're gonna go up to window. We're gonna go through Pasta Dodana, sort of. And then we're gonna step offline with our back foot, and we're gonna land this shot. And you landed it perfectly. You can hear that beautiful noise of it. If you, I don't know if you guys can actually hear, but you're gonna be able to hear it in the recording. Right here. Let's watch it again. Perfect. Alright, so then, that was also good. You tried it again. Lauren would have parried that if she were quicker. But, good. You got the footwork right. Perfect. Good overall. Very good for your first ever time steel sparring. I'd say keep working on it. Don't be a stranger. Don't be afraid to fight, especially with steel. You get a lot better, a lot faster when you can fight with steel. So, yeah. Alright, are there any other videos you want to watch today?
I have a very cringe one that
my fight with Lauren would be nice to watch.
Oh shit, it's right here, never mind. Alright, let's look at it, let's look at it. Alright, Cooper, let's see your cringe video. How long is your cringe video, Cooper?
It's only like 2 minutes, but you can skip through most of it.
Alright. Go ahead and post it. We'll see.
It's
All right.
one of a very bad person. Like by that I mean a bad self of me. This was a long time ago when
This is Sam.
Oh, this one.
This is like
a bad version. All right, so we're gonna save ripping into Cooper for a little bit later. We're gonna go ahead and do Antoine and Lauren. Let's check out what we got here. What do we have? 5 minutes for this one too. All right. So as I recall, this one's a bit more intense. So let's watch it. And Antoine, you've been visiting other clubs, right?
He's visited DSHF once, I believe.
Not that much, just DHSF once, and then one-handed stuff with Dallas Renaissance.
Okay, so you've been exposed to other people and other fighters, and you've seen how they fight. And I can't stress to you guys how much this is going to help you. Because right now, I want you to imagine every club as its own little bubble of ideas, right? And you're going out and you're experiencing other ideas when you go out of our bubble. And you're bringing back new ideas, and you're coming and you're feeding that to our members as well.
Visiting new clubs is so good.
The reason the people at DSHF get so good is because they host tournaments all the time. They go out and fight people. They fight at good intensity. They've got excellent instructors. But a big part of it is they're exposed to other fighters. If you just stay in your own bubble, if people from Simbrogi never came to DSHF and all of a sudden you had a tournament with people from Simbrogi, you would do much worse than you would if you fight them every year or twice a year or 3 times a year. Going out and fighting other people, whether that be visiting other clubs, going to tournaments, doing all these things, will make you so much better. It's just exposure to other styles. So let's see how this fight between Antoine and Lauren goes. Starting out light. Alright, what happened to us? Slow that down.
I got a hand shot on you, didn't I, Antoine?
It was forearm.
Forearm.
Yeah.
Right here. Antoine's got pretty good control over his feet. He goes for the Fendente to the... Oh, did this land, Lauren? Or this was flat? No, he was cutting the other way. This missed entirely, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was cutting to her right side, and he missed. Or Lauren deflected it, and Lauren comes and lands... Where's the forearm shot? Did I miss it?
I think he Nah.
Let's watch it again. Because I heard it, I just didn't see it. Okay, so right there at some point. Looks like right there. Between this frame and this frame, Lauren lands that forearm shot. Lauren, I'd say be careful here, because Antoine looks like he's coming over with a Mizani Tuerhao. As heretical as those two terms seem put together. Then you are getting the shot because his Zorkhao is a shorter range motion than your Fendente. So be careful here. Good shot, but be careful. And if you're going to get into the German tradition at all, remember the Zorkhao is primarily a short range motion. If someone comes against you with a Fendente or a Mizani and you're trying to do the Zorkhao against them, you are going to suffer the range.
Yeah, they gotta enter in with the thrust action to do this warehouse, or you gotta jump with it.
Yes, if you recall earlier while reviewing the fight between myself and Bilal uses the Zorkhao against me as a second intention parry, sort of. And because I'm already close enough to be throwing cuts at him, it worked beautifully. But out here at this range, opening with a Zorkhao,
okay, that makes sense.
Especially when your opponent is going to fight you like an Italian and keep you at measure, Italians are either going to keep you at measure or they're going to close in on you rapidly. But if they're going to keep you at measure and they're going to throw their strikes, then the Zorkow, you guys are indoctrinating me. The Zorkow coming in is probably not the best entry.
Say it like a German. Zorkow.
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 Schadenfreude.
Guten Lernen, Gott live haben, Frau in your ear.
What?
Zero. That's the poem, German.
Alright, we got the provoking. Alright, we're too close. Right here, Antoine can just reach out and tap your hands. It means we're too close. Now he missed. Lucky for you, Lauren, but we are too close here. Right now, Lauren, what happens if you shoot your tip forward?
Get him.
Antoine is boned, right? But instead, we just back off. Okay, apparently we landed that shot. We landed that hand shot. So we're still fighting from too close. This one is a little bit better. We're a little bit farther away. Right here, we're too close. So if we go back to this frame right here, it looks like we're both going in with intent. Shit, we're not paused. It looks like we're both going in with intent here. But what happens if either of you bring your sword down from here? You both get hit, right?
Yeah.
Our tips need to be forward here. Until I will not say that it's impossible to bring your sword back while you're this close, but we need to seek a bind first. If either one of you from this position had your tip forward, you would have an easy thrust on the other person, or B, you would be able to seek the bind before doing your cut around, which makes you infinitely safer.
I like to imagine my opponent has a sword out in front of him. Point. Try to keep my distance from that, no matter what guard my.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
You're cutting out a lot.
You're breaking up a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, imagining a sword is out in front of your opponent is a good way to imagine it. But you guys are both stepping in with your swords back here, and it's causing you to be too close. So again, focus on... I think we did a drill on this back when we were still in Point North Park, but focus on getting your tip forward as soon as you feel threatened. And what happens is, this is luck at this point. Lauren has the better line, so she lands the hand shot. Also, this person looks like she has a mask on in the background, like a Phantom of the Opera mask. Y'all know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
I
a
think
camera
that's-
for sure, but
That might be a hijabi.
it might. I'm sure it's just the lighting, but it looks like the Phantom of the Opera mask.
There's a monster there.
It's just a ghost watching everything. We hear the soft clanking of synthetic swords in the background. Alright, what are we going for here, Antoine? What's your thought process?
There I think
Shield
I
Howl.
was cutting in with a shield howl.
Yeah.
And she backed off, and so I just kind of backed off because I didn't get the bind that I was looking for.
Alright, so seeking the bind is a good thought. Right here, what happens if Lauren decides to wait for you to be done and then explosively goes after you right here?
Yeah, your hands especially.
Your hands are open, your forearm is open. Heck, if she decides to take your sword here she gets cuts into your sword and thrusts at you, your whole deep targets are open. Right here, we caught you slacking.
You're also unbalanced a little bit.
If you want to bind, you have to force it.
Yes.
By cutting into the close, to the center, at a position where you threaten that thrust, and your opponent has no choice but to bind or step back.
A lot of times people, if they know you're trying to bind, they will try to avoid your bind. I personally work really well from the bind. I love the bind. I love feeling my opponent's sword. The German fighters are like, really hate the bind. They're like, fuck the bind. I'm gonna knock rise in this motherfucker. I'm gonna strike into the hands while moving backwards. I hate the bind. I like the bind because I know I have a 90% win rate when we get to the bind. Unless I'm fighting Brandon, because he's too fast. But yeah, people don't like the bind when you try and force it. And right now, in this moment, we've caught you slacking.
Well, it's like we don't like entering the bind in a position where our opponent wants us to be.
Yes.
We want to enter the bind from our position.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So my recommendation from here is, so we did get a bind, all right?
You're a bit out of range here, and you telegraphed this cut a lot.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as threatening.
Another thing is the Shielhau. If you're going for the German system, like the Zorkhau, the Shielhau is a shorter range motion. It's just from the biomechanics of the cut. It's a shorter range motion. But let's say Lauren is not going to immediately punish this. You're not in a half bad position here. Assuming your momentum is still going forward, your tip's right at her face, she's too close to you. What's your follow-up? Because you're only in terrible peril here if you don't have a follow-up. Right now, I would maybe even go so far as to classify this as a weak bind. We've done our entry. We're close enough to hit Lauren with a passing step. Just shoot your tip forward right to her face. And see what happens. I guarantee you, if you push your tip towards her face, you will either kill her or you will enter a bind. And there's your bind right there. You forced a bind.
You're also pretty front-loaded. We generally want to stay balanced, even when we throw cuts and stuff, so that we have the option to back out.
Yes.
At least 60%.
When you're on one foot, you only have the option to go forward on your front foot.
What was that, Lauren?
I was gonna say, like what Bilal was saying, what I was told is like 60-40 weight distribution. So like 60% of your weight on your foot and then 40 on your back.
So I don't want to argue this point specifically. I would say that generally being too front or back load is a bad idea. But this depends on the system we're using. The Chinese, the old Asian masters even had something that they called the error of double pressure. I looked up this manual a long time ago. I actually heard this in an anime, believe it or not, and I actually looked it up. It's like, huh, wait, that's a real thing. So they called it the error of double pressure, and that was where you had perfectly even balance on both of your feet. And what they would say is, in order to move, you would have to translate some of the balance onto one foot or the other in order to move. But if you already were loaded on that foot, at least a little bit, you can move faster. So I'm not going to open the discussion of being perfectly balanced or 60-40 or 80-20 or any of that. But what we do know for sure is don't get caught slacking when you're all the way loaded on one foot. Because right now, you only have one option to move, and that's through this leg. You can't move through this leg at all, even in an emergency. But right here, we're front loaded. If our momentum is already going forward and she just refused your bind, just stab her. You have the center line right here. You have it. Just stab her. And if you miss, you will get a bind.
Okay.
Yeah. But it looks as if we were preparing to go back here. So, what was your if say let's workshop this theoretically. If we did land this Shielhau, what was our plan?
It was either win the bind into thrust, or if I don't feel like I'm winning the bind, immediately go into a Shielhau.
Alright, so based off the next half second here, we see that you actually go ahead and fall back, which means your muscles, your brain had already told your muscles, we're backing off from this, because you know you're not going to win the bind. Which means if you had won the bind, you don't have the footwork structure to follow up. So if you come and win this bind, all that was going to happen there is you were going to maybe throw a cut while backing up. So we need to work on our footwork here as we enter. So we're going to throw with good footwork, and then we have the option to actually follow up. Because based off of where I see your feet here, even if Lauren had not moved, if she had just cut into you, you're already loaded on this foot, and you're already telling your foot to back you off. Right here, we're backing off. So in order to execute that plan, we need to be able to tell our foot that I'm going to continue forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Lauren is doing her thing from Iron Gate here. Alright, got to cut around to the forearm.
Again, a kind of half-threatening, not really intentful Shielhau that got punished.
Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. Oh wait, here we go. say Lauren. Yeah, we missed it again, didn't we? There's the first one. We're gonna try the same thing again.
He's in Tranca.
There we go. Right there, you made the decision to throw in and measure. Lauren was in her full iron gate. I'm going to tell you right now, Lauren lives for this exact action. She's waiting in her full iron, or her middle iron gate for you to throw that Fendente, that Oberhau, that descending cut to her. As soon as you throw it in measure, she's going to come up for her window parry and cut around, exactly as she does here.
I think your idea was to try to lock her out in the low guard, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Throw with that shield how. You can do it as first. You need to provoke an action that they come up from the low guard, and then you throw the shield how. It's probably like a foot. You come in close with, or you threaten with the point or something like that, and then the shield how is more of a indes moment rather than a provocation to, or a locking out motion.
So I'll also say that your leverage for the shield how is weaker than your leverage for the regular descending cut. So Master Fiore actually tells us if their sword is low, we just place our sword over theirs, and that way they can do nothing to me.
Yeah.
Which is like 90% true at best, because they can still disengage and cut to the hands like a filthy German heretic. But
when someone's in a low guard, one of the best, you can just wait them out. You can provoke them out of it with a feint or something, or a really high Scheidel Howl while stepping offline works pretty good. Or you can crump the blade, that works okay too sometimes. Throwing a crump out to the blade, locking them out to the ground. But the shield howl only works as they're coming up. Like I did something with my footwork to provoke this sword coming up, and then I throw it and lock them out.
Okay.
Right, so let's keep watching. We're only 2 minutes into this 5-minute video. We'll probably end the stream after this one. We can just give Cooper's video a quick watch. Alright, so we have some more ideas here.
Gotta mess that helmet up, Antoine. It looks too new. Gotta mess your helmet up a little bit. It looks too new. You need to take some thread.
Alright, there's another example of us coming for that short range attack and getting punished by a longer range attack. So I don't know if you caught that. You went into the shield how again. I would also recommend adding some more tools to your toolkit, because this alone is not going to cut it. This is like the 7th time you've thrown this. So you throw
If I just throw in an attack that's too out of range to actually threaten my opponent, then I'm just basically saying, here you go, take my hands.
Yeah, so what Lauren does here is, you can see her sword is poised to just come down and hit your forearm. That's exactly what she does. Right there.
Okay.
He got me.
So I thought at this exact point, Lauren had thrown a thrust that had hit Antoine's face right here. I could have sworn I saw this land.
No, I didn't hit Antoine. His sword came up right under mine and pushed up right as I was about to hit. So it was thrown off of where I was going.
Okay, so this is a good example of throwing an ascending cut across the line to help you keep yourself defended. We also looked at this exact.
That's a good shield how.
Right here. So the mechanics are the same. What we've done is Lauren's threatening you with a thrust, right?
Yeah.
A high thrust even. Wait, it might not be a high. Lauren is threatening you with a thrust. And you've parried by essentially going up into this. This is in German, this would be ox. But in Italian, it's the window position. And we've thrown a cut at her hands from below to displace. I would still say if she was half a second faster, this thrust would have still landed. So this is still a bit dangerous. I would say try and intercept the sword first. because this action landed because it had perfect timing, and perfect timing is very hard to achieve.
Can you go back to that last with the exchange before this one? That shield hell. Because right there, you did actually land it. You did actually land it close enough. Close enough. No, the one where through the shield hell got hit in the hands.
This one?
Yeah, that one. I think you did actually land it close enough, but because you don't have the footwork structure to threaten the thrust, Lauren doesn't feel threatened by it, and so she just goes for your hands.
Yeah.
The reason people don't go for your hands is the same reason they don't go for your legs every time, is because they feel threatened in the face or the chest. Well, some people are suicidal and don't care, but
you
because
mean like Bilal in tournaments?
yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, exactly. So watch your feet very closely here. Here, we've landed that shield. But, again, we're loaded on our front foot. Our brain has already told the rest of our body, we're going to throw this cut and then get out. So we might have a mental plan to follow up with this, but our body is not going along with it. Right now, you have landed this cut and you can cut around. But instead, what you're going to see is your body's going to shift back. Your brain is going to realize that you landed this, so you're not going to go back as far, but your body's going to shift back. Watch. See it?
Okay, yeah. So I need to do more practice with follow-ups.
You need to prepare yourself mentally for the mindset of, I'm going to throw this next attack in measure. Because right now, your shield how the idea is there, but you're just throwing it, and then you're immediately pushing back because you feel like you're in danger. Even if you're not in danger, you feel like it, so you're pushing back.
Keep the pressure on, keep the threat going, rather than being like, oh, I got it. No, like you're hesitating after.
Alright, what's the plan here? We're getting close, but we're not threatening here. Our sword is not actually going on a strong line. Lauren is backing up because you could theoretically power these, but we're not threatening. Alright, this is much better. We have a follow-up. Let's see what happens. Lauren, did he hit you here?
Where? Sorry, I was on my phone.
Oh no, you got the hand hit in. So, you may have gotten hit here, Antoine, but this is a much better follow-up. We have one cut, and then we're moving forward for 2 cuts. So the reason Lauren gets this is because of the measure that you did. You're coming around with Zwerkhow here, but Lauren's regular Fendente has more range than your Zwerkhow. So she is...
Didn't we double here? I know we doubled at least once.
I think we doubled. We might have doubled
we doubled here.
Oh, let's see it again. Oh yeah, it's entirely possible. But again, if you're closer, you land that shot and Lauren misses.
Okay.
Yeah, we did double here.
Anton, would you still like to fight me after this? If I'm not too tired.
And then nobody filmed our fight. Big sad.
As I say, like, push hard or defend hard. Anything in between gets you hit.
Oh, what are we going on here? I think this is the shot that I noticed was visibly flat on Lauren. No, that wasn't this one. It's a different one. Alright, so
nice
we have a
provocation.
Yeah. Provocation, and we're going to hit her on this side. This is very good. I like this a lot. This is good. I don't know what's going on with your feet, but the handwork is good. Huh?
I said he's levitating.
Let's watch it one more time. Okay, yeah, no, I see. This cut came in at a 45-degree angle. Your blade wasn't entirely aligned. So you said you're still getting used to the gloves, but even with the gloves, you need to practice your edge alignment.
Yeah.
Because in a tournament, I can almost guarantee you this cut would be called 90% of the time, 80% of the time. If the judge was a real dick, he'd call it flat. And he would technically be right, because it wouldn't have the cutting potential of a perfectly true on edge cut. If you were cutting into a tatami mat with this cut, this would not go.
Yeah.
But I love the idea. You landed the action very well. It's just you got to work on the edge line. Oh my god. gosh, hit this guy right here.
You tensed up when you were about to advance there. Yeah, I think you're kind of tense in the upper body.
Antoine, is this your first steel spar or no? Where's the freaking
Second.
mosquito? I got him! Hell yeah.
Yeah, my first steel spar was last Friday against the guy from Valiant.
Is this your first longsword steel spar?
No, the second. Yeah.
Ah, he was Valiant.
You're tensing up as you're about to go forward.
So one thing I would like you to try, Antoine, is I want you to go into the high guard, like high Vomtag, like Myers Vomtag, or Vadi's Pasta Falcone, and just try throwing your falling cut as you enter. And don't immediately back up. Follow up from there. Because I'll find if you just do that, you might not win every time, but the information you gather is massive, and the amount you learn is massive. So just go into a big high guard above your head. You can even do Pasta de Donna behind your back, and go down for your descending cut, and go in. Your opponent will bind you, and go from there.
Okay.
Instead of trying to throw these tricky shield house.
I'm trying to stay as perpendicular as possible.
They're not working out for you.
Oh.
This is where I thought you had a rolled tip, so I came in and I said hit my sword to get the dirt out, but then I realized you had a spatulated tip, so there's no dirt caught in.
Yeah.
It's the advantage with the spatulated tip.
Spatulateds also don't break. Alright, so right there.
That was the flat one, wasn't it?
That was flat.
Yeah, it was very flat. So we have a good idea, I think. Okay, I mean, Lauren might have just straight up hit your hands here, but let's see what happened again. Let's watch this again. We're both cutting at the same time. Oh, nice. Crump across the middle, cut across the middle.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna come flick. Okay, so Lauren might have hit your hands, but her cut was not any good here. Not unless she sliced, which I don't think she did. But your cut was good here. But this actually has nothing to do with the structure of the gloves. This is 100% your body's structure.
Yes.
You are trying to. Your brain is like halfway between. Should I go with the false edge or the true edge? And halfway between the false edge and the true edge, as it turns out, is the flat of the sword. So we need to either decide to land that with the false or true edge.
Okay, yeah.
And this is where I think I told you your edge is flat.
Are you doing 15 and 10 and 5?
The false edge is better because it's.
I mean, that's 5 minutes right there.
You don't have to record all of it.
No, no. I'm gonna cut it at 5 minutes because
this is
anything
your
more than
last
that is
exchange.
gonna be insane to upload.
Oh wait, no, he stopped right here. All right, so, let's go ahead. So yeah, I would say add more tools to your toolkit besides just the shield how, Antoine. And I wish they'd recorded our fight because I went a little bit harder on you than Lauren did. But I would say just try throwing a regular Fendente or a regular Zornhau, a regular Oberhau from a high guard and see what happens. People will parry it because they have to, right? Otherwise they'll die.
Don't be afraid to wait. If someone's out in a low guard, just
Yeah.
stand back, wait them out.
But let's go ahead and watch Cooper versus Sam here, and we'll just watch this all the way through.
Disappointed that nobody
Sam is a good teacher.
knows how to throw a sword.
This is back before he cleaned his Gambison.
This is back before Sam and Jack.
Also, can we take a moment of silence to commemorate Point North Park?
Rip.
Blessed be the park.
I missed the Tressie.
Rip Point North Park. It is a crater now. They literally dug up this whole ass fucking area to make a septic tank. I'm really pissed.
I think I'm gonna go now.
Oh,
All right.
bye, Willow.
Have a good night, below.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, let's watch this last video and then we'll wrap it up.
That is not the thing we thought you'd be appalled and disappointed by.
So that I know how to teach people on Wednesday because how to throw a sword? Yeah, I was gonna have
Cooper, what are you doing?
From Ukraine.
I don't really want to fucking do that. So now I have the opportunity. I don't have to.
Cooper's still here.
Yeah, he's muted.
I think it doesn't matter.
Cooper, what are you doing?
I wish I knew.
Oh, Moon.
limit the number of swords thrown, though, as they could
Going to post some of my fights, but then I watch
hello.
myself and I'm like, what am I even doing? I look so dumb.
excessively dangerous, but also right up our alley. So I mean,
What we're gonna do?
I think we should stop doing excessively dangerous things.
That was Sam's entire personality in the council. Was I think we should stop doing excessively dangerous things.
You have to be away from the trees.
I wasn't talking about that. I was just saying that I was watching my fights and I looked really dumb.
Well, you should post some and we can make fun of you.
No.
I think we're slow sparring in this, and then because I think mostly he's just teaching me about like ways to enter a bind. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not gonna comment too much on this because I'm out of energy. Cooper, this is I remember how you were back then, and this is when you still flailed around a lot. Because for a longest time, we actually talked about how we were going to help fix your body structure. Because you hit people really hard because you're a big guy, but it wasn't because of your structure, it's because you're just a big guy. And we talked about, like, alright, we gotta fix his structure, we gotta help him to hit light. As soon as you fixed your structure, though, you became way, way better.
Basically,
like,
look
at the flailing that's going on here.
We can fix you, Cooper.
The issue is that like it is flailing, like each one of those.
Look at that short hair! Damn, Lauren, look how short my hair is.
Do what?
Said, look how short my hair was. All right, so I think that's gonna conclude tonight's fight review stream. So I hope you guys had fun. Here's that diagram for you one more time. I'm not gonna save it. So yeah, have a good night.